Okie dokie. Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you very, very much for joining this webinar tonight. Welcome, and thanks for giving up your time on a Sunday night. I just want to absolutely acknowledge you for taking the time out in your life to join something for an hour and 15 minutes. I know that people are busy, so I really do commend you because it means that you're taking care of yourself, you're looking for opportunities to improve and enhance your life, and that's really excellent. So I really commend you for that, and I acknowledge that. So well done. So tonight the webinar is about the 4 key skills to take charge of our life. In other words, how can we navigate life in a more graceful way? Because life is busy, it can be very stressful. So the skills that I'm going to talk about tonight are really truly about, as it says, they're living a happier life. It's about being positive and enjoying every day and have a feeling of fulfillment in our life. It's also about being physically healthier, mentally, emotionally, spiritually healthier, and overall achieving the goals that we want, which makes us successful in life. So the 4 key skills that I'm going to share tonight, just to let you know, they're absolutely timeless. You can go back 100 years or 10,000 years, as long as you want. They apply then and they will continue to apply now. So I'm just putting a couple of people on mute. There's some background noise. If you want to speak, please just unmute yourselves. You've got the controls to do that for yourself. So these 4 skills that I'm going to talk about are actually based on a 4-day program called the Silva Method. So if I had to say how much of the Silva Method I'm sharing here tonight, I worked it out and it's probably 3% of the entire program. So just a very, very tip of the iceberg. The Silva Method is a personal development program. It is all scientifically based on evidence, and I'll explain a little bit more about that just now. So to kick off tonight, I give you all 3 guarantees. Everybody say 3? 3. Okay, I can hear you. I'm unmuting you one by one. Okay, so the first guarantee is that you're going to walk away tonight with something that you can absolutely apply in your life straight away to help you. The second guarantee that I'm going to give you tonight is that I know that some of you, by the end of this webinar, may be thinking, gosh, there's a family member or a friend or someone in your life that you know who probably needs this more than you do. And what I'm going to guarantee is I will do another one of these webinars, so keep that in mind if there's anyone else you want to share this with that may benefit them. And the third guarantee is if you like what you're hearing tonight and you want to know and understand a bit more, it comes from the Silva Method, so I will give you an explanation at the end as to what the Silva Method is about, not in too much detail, but just to give you an understanding of this 4-day program, because the truth is, without going into a long story, I don't want to talk about myself tonight, I want to share this stuff with you, but the Silva Method absolutely changed my life. It turned my life around from the worst place it's ever been to really getting things completely in a different space 5 months later. And since then, which was several years ago now, it's just got better and better since then. It helped me find my life purpose. It helped me get the courage to break through the terror barrier of leaving corporate after 20 years and work for myself. It helped me overcome failure to success. It helped me sustain high performance year after year. So I can't talk about it enough. And also my health. Through stress, I got physically ill many years ago before I found the Silva Method. So I can't talk about it enough. I love the program. I believe in it. And when this changed my life, I actually wrote to Silva International head office in the United States. And I said, it would be my dream to teach this to others for how much it's helped me. So that's why I'm here today. And I'd love to share this with as many people as I can. All right, so let's kick off then. So the 4 key skills that I'm going to talk about tonight are firstly, number 1, how do we learn to remain calm and focused even when we're under pressure? So that's all about managing and reducing stress. The second skill is for us to not only have clearly defined goals, but to have meaningful goals, goals that give us fulfillment. And then how do we achieve them and achieve them faster? The third thing is massive. It's huge. It's how do we overcome limiting beliefs? Every one of us have limiting beliefs. The problem is we're not aware of what they are, but these are the things that are keeping us stuck from where we want to get. And then last but not least is how do we develop the skill, because it is a skill, to be able to make smarter decisions and to recognize the right opportunities for us. And the way that we do that is with two things. Firstly, being able to access our creativity, and secondly, our intuition. So this is what the talk tonight is about. I'm going to expand on these things. All right, so just to kick off, I'm going to turn the slideshow off for just a second and start off by saying that science today has proven that each and every one of us has a blueprint for how much money we earn, for how much happiness we experience, for how much love we receive in our lives, or how much love we give to others in our lives, even how much fulfillment we experience, or joy, or laughter. So this blueprint, you could call your conditioning, you could call it your formatting. Psychologists refer to it as your paradigm. So I'm going to just unmute everybody and just say very quickly, now when I ask questions tonight, just by the way, I want you to be alive, be alert, and have fun. So speak as quickly as you can, otherwise the webinar goes on long because we wait for answers. So just shout out, where do you think this paradigm or conditioning comes from? Go on. We've all got it. A certain blueprint that determines our results where they are right now. Where does this conditioning come from?
Upbringing.
Upbringing,
Family.
thank you.
Yeah.
So Marie, tell me about upbringing. Which years of our lives did we get this formatting mostly?
0.
Say?
From 0 to 7.
100%. So Marie's quite right, and I actually knew that she knew that because I've heard her speak about it before. So it's called the imprint period of your life, or the imprint phase. Between 0 and 7, when we're small little babies, everything that we hear from our parents, our primary caregivers, our schooling, our loved ones, our family, the TV, the media, everything kind of goes into our little brains and literally programs us. It becomes our conditioning. So of course, over time, our experiences and other things that influence us continue to condition us. And this continues throughout your life. So the point I want to make about this is, this paradigm is determining the results that you have in your life right now. So here's the point. You're not responsible for your conditioning. However, you are responsible for changing it if it doesn't serve you. So many people behave in certain ways because of things that happened when they were 2 or 3 or 4 years old, and it's maybe causing blockages in their life today. So if they understand that, it's not enough to say, well, you know, it's caused me to be like this. So we're not really responsible for everything, but we are responsible for changing it. And the good news is you can change it. And just to let you know, the entire Silva Method program is based on going in and, which I'm going to explain to you now, being able to literally maybe rewrite old patterns of behavior or retrain the mind towards success if there are patterns or thought patterns or old paradigms that are holding us back or limiting us in our life. So we're talking about a paradigm. Here's a great definition. Someone's just joined. Welcome, whoever's just joined. Hi, Richard. Thank you for joining. Hope you can hear us. So a paradigm is a mental program that has almost exclusive control over our habitual behavior. And almost all of our behavior is habitual. So this is really very important for us to understand, is that almost all of our behavior comes from old habits and patterns. It's like automatic behavior, autopilot behavior. So the best way to explain this, which I think is a good way to, before we get into the 4 key skills, just to quickly cover this off. Everybody knows what the brain is. It's an organ. It's inside our skull, and you can look at it with medical instrumentation. But when someone says, what is the mind? Well, the mind is not necessarily something that we can say where it's contained or where is the mind. So as people over years try to talk about the mind and explain it, was always a very difficult thing to conceptualize. So a very clever doctor years ago, Dr. Thurman Fleet, came up with this little stick man illustration, and he calls it the stick man. And it just helps us give us a mental picture, because human beings think in pictures. No matter what you are doing or saying, we help to understand things in pictures. So imagine if this was you, and that was your head, and imagine you draw a line across from ear to ear. Now just imagine for a second that the top half of that is your conscious mind. So the conscious mind is the thinking mind. When you think things, or you're busy studying, or you're busy analyzing information, you're working things out, you're making conscious efforts, that's the conscious mind. Now the conscious mind has the ability to accept or reject any idea. If you don't like something that you don't believe in, you can reject the idea. Then you get the subconscious mind. And I love the word subconscious because it means it's below our level of conscious awareness. So our subconscious mind is the part of us that actually controls, the B there is for body. It controls our behavior. It actually controls our body, whatever's in our subconscious mind. And whatever we're doing in terms of behaviors is what ultimately determines our results. So let's just work backwards. If we said we wanted different results in our life, well, let's ask the question, how much do you think of our results or our behaviors are actually determined by the subconscious mind, which is what we're not consciously aware of? It's like automatic behavior. So my question is, what percentage of the time do you think you're operating on autopilot? Just have a guess. Shout out a number. Let me unmute you guys. What percentage of your life do you think you're operating on autopilot?
70.
Okay. Any other guesses? Thank you, Dom. Marie, I can't hear you.
95
95. Any others?
or 100 even.
Okay. No one other guesses. If you do want to speak, anyone, just unmute yourself if you are on mute. The truth is, neuroscientists reckon approximately 90% of everything we do is on autopilot. So you may think you're consciously in control of your life, but the truth is your paradigm, your conditioning, this thing that you're not even aware of is actually running your life. And I'm talking about the best example people love to use to describe this is driving a car. When we very first learned to drive a car, if you can remember how much conscious thought was going into the clutch, if you drove a manual car, the gears, lifting the one, etc. It was such a conscious effort to do this and to do that. Today we can be driving along, you can receive a phone call, you can be having a conversation with someone, you can, literally be putting lipstick on or singing away, and you don't even know that you've traveled 5 kilometers. That's because who was driving the car? Well, you were still driving the car, but what was actually driving the car were old habitual patterns that you've given your subconscious mind repeatedly over time that have now played themselves out, and you weren't even conscious of the behaviors you were doing. So this actually, if you want to think about 90% of your life, let me just give you these examples. The way you respond to someone who swears at you is an autopilot behavior. The way you respond to a phone call in business is autopilot behavior. If you have to pick up the phone and make outbound sales calls in your job, how you do that is on autopilot. How you respond when someone pays you a compliment, how you make a cup of tea, how you tie your shoelaces, how you brush your teeth. You just try one day, brush your teeth with the other hand, and you'll realize how you don't even realize what you're doing. Everything's on autopilot. So if we understand this, and we know that our results come from our subconscious mind, 90% of them, well, then my question is, there's two ways in life that we can get different results. The one is using your conscious mind, with effort and willpower, or you can reprogram that subconscious mind and change your paradigm. So here's a question. How much more effective is it to retrain the subconscious mind, which you really got to close your eyes and work within your mind? You can't do this in the outside world. Or you can, but it needs a lot of repetition. How much more effective is it to work on the subconscious mind to get different results than to try and do it with willpower and effort? Are there any guesses? The answer is it's 30,000 times more effective to work on your subconscious programming. Why? Because it's in your subconscious programming that all your habits reside, all your beliefs, all the beliefs about what you think you can do and what you think you can't do, what you think are your strengths, all your self-confidence and your self-worth. So people think if they want more self-confidence, there's not much they can do. There's a lot you can do. Believe me, if you want to increase your self-confidence, you absolutely can. So just to let you know, this whole Silva Method program is based on working on retraining the subconscious mind to give us the results that we want in our life. Okay, so going back to the paradigm, remember it's a mental program that has almost exclusive control over your behavior, because most of your behavior is habitual. I love this quote. Motivation is what gets you started, but it's habit. It's habit that keeps us going. If you think about anyone, for example, who's tried to reduce their weight by, let's say, 5 kilos, and they've tried to do this over and over again for the last, 8 years or 10 years. If it was so easy, there would be nobody in the world who was obese. The reason why it's so difficult is because we try to lose weight with effort and willpower and our conscious mind thinking and a plan. I can promise you now, if you went within and worked on reprogramming the subconscious mind first, and then applying different behaviors in the outside world like exercise or nutrition or whatever, and you did these in harmony, working on the subconscious mind and outside behaviors, your results would be permanent, long-lasting, and very, very easy to carry out, because it would seem like it's a habit. You'll start creating new habits. It's a very effective way to change results in your life. And this applies to how much money you earn, how much fulfillment you have, your state of health, relationships, how successful they are, even how much happiness you experience. So let's just talk about the Silva Method. It's basically a personal development program. It's all scientifically proven, and it's really a step-by-step program of very easy to learn, structured techniques for health, happiness, and success. And how it works is, which I'll explain here in just this bottom of the slide. How it works is basically, it's a dynamic meditation program. So we actually close our eyes and enter deeper levels of mind. So what that really means is we go into a state of mind that gives us the best access to the subconscious mind where all that programming is. And when we access that subconscious mind, we then use creative visualization, guided imagery, and we start to retrain the brain for what it is that we want. And it's very effective. As I said, it's 30,000 times more effective than trying to change results with effort and willpower. And they're long-lasting. The other thing the Silva Method does is it's a 4-day program, and 2 full days are spent on developing intuition. And I'll talk about that a bit later when we talk about the last of the 4 key steps. So it's basically getting a toolbox of mental tools to help you get the results that you want. So the Silva Method has been around for over 50 years. It was researched for 22 years before it became a public program back in 1966. It's available in 111 countries around the world. It's in 43 languages, and millions of people have got great results from it. Here are just some of the people who are what we call Silva graduates. They've done the program, and all these famous people did the Silva Method before they became famous, and many of them are credited to it. There's actually a video on YouTube of Jack Canfield, of Jack Canfield saying that it was the Silva Method that actually started him on his journey of success. He's the author of Chicken Soup for the Soul. Deepak Chopra is one who's also done it. Wayne Dyer, fantastic author, published many fantastic books. Richard Bach, who's the author of Jonathan Livingston Seagull, and he wrote one chapter and then he got writer's block for years. And he said it was the Silva method that just unlocked that and just let the whole book just flow through him, and he finished it straight away. Shakti Gawain, also a fantastic author on visualization. And then Cleve Baxter, I don't know if anyone's heard of him, but if you haven't, it's worth writing his name down and just going onto YouTube and watching what he did. Back in the 60s, Cleve Baxter was the man who brought the awareness to the world that plants, yes, plants have got a consciousness. They have an awareness of death, life, fear, and so on. Okay, so let's get into these 4 key skills. So the first one, how to stay calm and focused even under pressure. If I can say, being able to manage and reduce stress is probably the most important skill you can develop in your life. Above all, bar none, this is the most important thing that you could ever learn. And I'll tell you why. Stress affects every single area of your life. It affects your health. It affects your work. It affects your performance. It affects your focus, your concentration. It affects your relationships. It affects your sleep. It affects your spirituality. It definitely affects a person's natural ability to be intuitive. It affects your creativity. I could go on and on. Stress affects every single area of our lives. So to learn a skill that we actually always are able to remain calm and focused is absolutely invaluable. So in saying that, let's play a little bit of self-awareness here. I'm going to unmute everyone. And I want you to, as I said, go as fast as you can. Let's not, take a long time. Just shoot your answers through. I want you to give me some early warning signs of stress. Give me any emotional signs of stress that you can think of. Just shout them out. Let's go. It's a race.
Lack of sleep.
Brilliant. Lack of sleep. Next.
Moody.
Yes, being moody and irritable. Perfect. What else?
And angry.
Angry, irritable. Yes.
Lack of focus.
Lack of focus. Yes. What else?
No energy.
Brilliant. Fatigue.
No motivation.
Yes.
Low self-esteem.
You're on a roll, Dom. Keep going. What else? Yes. What are some physical signs?
I think patience.
Absolutely, impatience. How else do we feel when we've got a lot of stress?
Physical signs is bad skin.
Bad skin? Sure.
Overwhelmed with everything.
Yes, being overwhelmed. Whoa, that is massive and really very detrimental. Anything else?
Just general unhappiness, I would think.
For sure. So let's have a look what we got here. We've mentioned most of these. To cry easily or to have the inability to cry. If you think about people often, sorry to talk about it as a morbid subject, but at funerals, how many times in your life have you been to a funeral and the person who's closest to the one who's passed on tells you that they don't understand why they can't cry and it bothers them? It's a sign of severe stress, not being able to cry and release that. Or not being able to laugh. Someone tells a joke and everyone's having a good laugh and the person goes, ha, ha, yeah, really funny. They can't actually laugh. Or being that feeling of anxiety or just being fearful all the time. Some physical ones that we haven't mentioned. Headaches. Having stomach problems. How often do children, when they're stressed, talk about their stomach? They've got stomach pain or runny tummy or something like that. The other one is no tolerance to pain. You can have the smallest injury and it really, really hurts when we have stress. Compared to when we're distracted, we can run into a table and keep running because we focused on something else, or we're very happy, or like at a party having a good time and you bump your knee, but the next day you see, wow, what a big bruise, but you didn't even feel you got it the night before. You were having such a good time. So when we stress, it's the opposite. Or shortness of breath, tightness in the upper chest, typical sign of anxiety or people with depression. Okay, so let's talk about behaviors. What kind of things do we consume when we're stressed?
Chocolate.
Alcohol.
Excellent. We've got 2 key ones, yes, out of the 4 I'm looking for. Chocolate, alcohol. What else?
Caffeine.
Brilliant. And anything else?
Lots of people take pills and stuff for, I don't know.
Okay, yes, take
to relax
drugs
I don't know.
or
Yeah.
pills.
And
Any-
you are a lot-
Cigarette.
What's that?
Cigarettes.
you've got a-
Cigarettes.
you've got a lot
Okay.
less patience.
Yes, a lot of less patience. So let me ask you this. Why do you think it is, or overeating, here's another one. Why do you think that caffeine, chocolate, and alcohol or cigarettes is something that we resort to when we're stressed?
Because it's a learned
The
behavior.
stimulants.
Yes. So what does it do? How does it make us feel?
Apparently
It's supposed to
relaxed.
make you feel relaxed, but it actually does the opposite.
Exactly.
Right. So let me give you this bit of info. To consume caffeine, chocolate, alcohol, or cigarettes causes the brain to release 2 chemicals. Doesn't matter what they're termed, but it's serotonin and dopamine. And they make you feel good, and they also make you sleep better. So right now, wherever you're sitting, all of you, I want you just to give this a shot. I want you to sit back, if you can, in your chair. I want you to put one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly. Let me stand up so you can see what I'm done here. Now I want you to take in a deep belly breath and make sure the bottom hand is the one that moves in and out. Leave the top hand still. So breathe into your belly and breathe out. And take about 3 to 5 deep belly breaths and try to breathe into all the corners of your belly, if you can imagine that there were corners. And just breathe out with everything you have. Take a deep belly breath and breathe out. And just feel how good it feels.
It feels.
Can you feel how good it feels? Okay, can I tell you why? Because taking in a deep belly breath, did you know, is a natural antidote to stress. It releases serotonin and dopamine. And it's free. So this is why meditation is so healthy. So guys, if you're taking notes tonight, write this down. The very first skill in learning to become calm and focused, even under pressure, is to meditate daily. So for those of you who do meditate daily, well done. Excellent. Keep it up. You know how good it is. For any of you here who've never meditated before, has anyone here never meditated? No? You all have. Okay. Well, if you haven't, try to get into the habit of meditating daily. Now, many people may say, oh, Jeanine, this is obvious. I knew that. I didn't have to join the webinar. I'll say, okay. It's one thing to know that meditating daily is good for us and reduces stress. But it's another thing to apply it and integrate it and make it part of our lives so that over time we become a person who remains calm and focused even under pressure. It's something you got to practice day in and day out, and over a long period of time, it's actually someone who we actually become. So when it says they create a resourceful state, just to let you know, in the Silva method, the very first dynamic meditation we do is called the long relaxation, and it's about 30 minutes. Did you know that scientifically it's equivalent to 4 hours of natural sleep? That's how healthy it is, because we take the brain waves into a place called the alpha state, which is when your brain wave cycles or frequency is half of what it is now while you're talking or having a conversation. and it's the most stable brainwave state. And that's where all healing occurs, all restoration of your immune system, and it's absolutely regenerating for the body. So just to say, for any of you who don't meditate or don't know how to meditate, the Silva guided meditations, all of them, even in the 4-day program, they're not passive where you try to clear your mind. It's not that kind of meditation. We actively engage the mind. We listen to instructions whilst in a deep state of meditation and train our brain to focus whilst in a deep, relaxed state. So if you want to get the free MP3 download, please go ahead. It's free. Just get it off the website. The website's there below. And it's about 30 minutes. Try to do it a minimum of once a week. If you can do it daily, even better. The other thing is, if you can only afford to meditate once a day, do it in the morning. Many people think they want to meditate at night to get a good night's sleep. Even if you meditate every morning, you will still sleep better by the end of the day when you go to bed at night. But to start your day with a meditation is the healthiest thing to do, because when you are in sleep, you're already in a beautiful, calm, relaxed state. So when you emerge into consciousness, you start thinking and worrying about the day. If you can do a meditation first thing in the morning, I cannot describe the benefits. It will give you a pace and an energy and a state that will carry you through the day of being centered, being balanced, being in control, being easy. Everything's working out. Avoid that getting frantic. Okay, so can anyone guess the benefits of meditation? What do you think the benefits, and I just write alpha meditation because we do generally go into the alpha state when we calm our minds. Any guesses?
Well, it obviously relieves stress.
Absolutely does. Yep, that's one of them. What else?
It gives me.
Oh, it probably just gives you more focus and just puts your mind straight.
Yep. Sorry, Marie, what did you say?
I say for me, it is to always connect with myself on a daily basis and stay aligned with where I want to be.
Yes, definitely. Here are some more. So, yes, it does relieve stress. It's actually, we find that stress chemicals actually dissolve whilst in a state of meditation. Did you know that if you meditate daily for over 30 days, you can normalize blood pressure, you can reduce blood pressure if you suffer from high blood pressure. Also, if you suffer from high cholesterol, you can naturally bring down your cholesterol if you meditate every single day. Past 30 days, you can start to see a change. And it's to stabilize blood sugar. It boosts the immune system. If anyone's ill, the healthiest thing to do is to meditate frequently. Just to tell you, me personally, if I ever get the very, very first signs that I think I'm going to get sick, like a sore throat or just feel a bit funny, I do the long relax. It immediately helps. I don't get sick. I bounce back and it goes away. Even if I have to do it twice in one day, it definitely works. Just to have that feeling of inner peace and harmony. We spoke about having clarity, being more productive and effective at work, definitely. Also more energy. When we're feeling tired and lethargic at the end of the day, we shoot for some coffee sometimes. You'd be better off going for 5 minutes even, or 10 minutes even better. Just close your eyes and take deep belly breaths in and out. You'll come back feeling a lot more energized. Also, intuition. This may sound strange. Like you may ask, what's the relationship between intuition and meditation? Well, when we repeatedly train ourselves to remain calm, it's in a state of a calm mind. When the mind is calm, we can open ourselves to intuition. When we are stressed, we shut ourselves off. Intuition can't flow through us. Also, to have that feeling of synchronicity in life, that you're in the flow state, that things are working out for you, that things are just getting better and better, or having that feeling of taking inspired action in your business. That doesn't happen very well when we're in a state of stress, or even to be more creative. Okay, so the first thing is to meditate daily. The second thing I want to ask, that's another self-awareness. Words. Has anyone heard that words affect the brain? What have you heard about words affecting the brain? Anyone? No?
Well, it's basically, I think it works like with kids, you know, whatever you tell kids on a frequent basis, they start believing. If you empower them, they start thinking of them as a beautiful, empowered person. If you constantly tell them you're silly, you're stupid, they start believing that. So whatever we hear on a frequent basis is what we start believing.
Absolutely. Correct. So there's actually this book written by 2 neuroscientists called How Words Can Change Your Brain. And just by the way, both of these gentlemen, Andrew Newberg and Mark Waldman, they used to be Silva Method trainers years and years ago. Anyway, they wrote this book about how the brain takes everything literally. Whatever we say goes into our subconscious mind. And the reason for that is that the subconscious mind cannot distinguish between imagination and reality. So when we know this, it's so important for us to be aware of what words we say. Because when we say something like Marie's just said, even to ourselves, I'm silly, oh, I'm such an idiot, I left my keys. Every time you say that, you're making impressions in your mind, and the brain takes it literally, and you're reprogramming yourself all the time. And the reason is just to remind you, the conscious mind can accept or reject any idea. If you don't like it, you can reject it. But the subconscious mind accepts everything. Everything that it hears or sees goes in there. So knowing this, we have something in the Silva method called mental house cleaning, or the cancel technique. So let's just start off by quickly shouting out, give me negative words or phrases about ourselves, or just what do you think are some negative words?
I'm such an idiot.
Perfect. What else? Any others? What other words do you think are negative?
I can't remember them. I've done a good job.
I can't remember them. The word can't is one of them.
Oh, there you go.
Because when we use the word can't, we shut off possibility. Another one is the word try. Did you know that try is it's also a negative word? I mean, if you think about saying to someone, I'll try and meet you at 8 o'clock, versus saying, I will meet you at 8 o'clock. Is a presupposition that there'll be some failure there with the word try. Other words that cause miscommunication are never and always. Never and always are red flags. If you ever hear people using never and always, just let it be a red flag for you. It causes people to be defensive. If someone's having a conversation, they're not listening, and let's say it was you, and I said to you, you know, you never listen. I mean, it puts you on the defense. It's a different thing to saying, you're not listening to me right now. That's more accurate. Or when you say always, you're always late. No, I'm not always late. You probably get into an argument with someone. Instead of saying you're always late, say you're not on time this time. Or the word but. But just negates everything you said before. Rather use however. Yeah, go ahead, Dom.
Oh, sorry, I just had a technical error here.
Okay, well, welcome back. What do you think the word don't, why do you think that's up there? To use the word don't in any sentence, regardless of what it is. I'll give you the example. Don't slam the door.
Because the brain needs to hear what you want it to do, not what you don't want it to do, because the brain doesn't understand the word don't.
Perfect.
The focus will be on slamming the door.
Absolutely perfect. Exactly. So if I say, don't think about a pink elephant, I mean, you just do. It's called the law of reverse effect. So that's a perfect example. Don't slam the door. We need to focus, well, when we focus on what we don't want instead of what we do want, like even to say, I don't want debt in my life. I don't want debt. Or I don't want to struggle anymore. We should rather say what we do want. I want things to be easier for me. Or I want more abundance. Hate. Did you know that just to say the word hate causes the stomach to produce acid? This has been medically proven. What about the word tired? I'm tired. You see, when we say I'm tired, and I just love this. My mother says this a lot, and I keep on reminding her. We keep telling ourselves that we're tired. And the more you repeat that, the brain says, you know, takes everything literally. I'm tired, I'm tired, I'm tired. Okay, one order of tired coming up, and the next thing you're feeling lethargic and you're feeling tired. Or the word should. What do you think the word should does to us? I should have fetched the dry cleaning.
It puts you under stress.
Puts you under stress, or it makes you feel guilty. So what we could say instead of that is, I'll remember next time, or I'll be better at calling someone back next time, or something, just to make it positive. But should causes both stress and guilt. Or pain in the neck, pain in the butt. I'll tell you a quick story. The guy who trained me in Silva Method, he had a lady who used to come to his classes, and she always said, this person's a pain in the butt, and that thing's a pain in the butt, everything was a pain in the butt. So one day, as a joke, he said to her, whatever her name was, hey, how's it going with your lower back pain there? And she went, oh, how did you know? Are you psychic? So he said, no, you're always saying things are a pain in the butt. She goes, oh, come on, Ken. You don't think it's because I keep saying pain in the butt, do you? And he said, yes, I mean it. I really do. So just be aware. Don't say, you know, things are a pain in anything, because the brain's going to take it literally. Or using the word, it's critical. Critical is a term that we hear in which environment? Where do we hear critical?
In business, all the time.
Yeah, it's wrong. But where is it really originally from?
Oh, I don't know.
Hospitals.
Yeah.
Or the army. A critical situation. So instead of saying something's critical, which is really severe and bad, rather say this is very important, or it's pertinent, or another word like that. So here's the Silva Method technique for you. The solution is something called a pattern interrupter. It's the cancel technique. So when we're busy saying a negative thought, the brain, as I said, takes everything in. However, this is scientifically proven. If you immediately catch yourself saying that negative thing, and you just say cancel, and then reframe it with a positive statement, the brain takes that literally too. So it actually stops that pattern of thought, that's an old habit. It interrupts it, and then you reframe it with a positive affirmation, and you make a new impression. If you can become very aware of all the thoughts you have, and even say this in your mind, you don't have to say it out loud. People will think you're crazy. Can you imagine going to work tomorrow and you're busy having a conversation? Even if someone else says any of these words, let's say your boss says, oh, this is absolutely critical, I could jump off a bridge. You can go, cancel. You'll say, what? So, you know, don't say that kind of thing out loud, but in your own mind, just say cancel. Everything's going to work out fine. We know this is very important. Just keep doing it, whether someone else says something negative or whether you do, but mostly what we say to ourselves. So one other way you can add into your sentence when you're reframing is the words better and better. So in other words, when someone says, I can't remember people's names, just start saying, I'm getting better at remembering people's names. Every time you think that thought, I can't remember people's names, I'm bad at remembering, just say, I'm getting better and better. In fact, better and better is in every single Silva Method dynamic meditation. It's one of the benefit statements where we say every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. And it's like a Silva Method secret handshake. You know, if you ask someone, how are you? Answer, better and better. And if you do that with someone who's done the Silva Method, you go, you've done Silva, because we know better and better is like something that we always say. So let me ask you guys, give me do this for me. I'll give you an example. Instead of saying, don't be late, say cancel. Please try and be on time. Or, I don't want to be late tomorrow. Just say cancel. I'm going to make the best effort to be on time. So if I had to say, I can't learn that, how would you fix that? Give me the cancel and reframe. I can't learn that. Give it back to me.
I will find a way to remember this because it's important to me.
Brilliant. And you first say cancel.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry for that.
Okay, let's go again.
Cancel.
Great.
Okay, try again.
Try again. I don't want debt.
Cancel. I live and feel abundant or abundance.
Brilliant. 100%. You get the prize twice, Marie. Okay, so you get the idea. So in your life, just use cancel, and don't just stop there. Remember, you've got to reframe with a positive statement. Okay, so you know to meditate daily and use the cancel technique. Now, the next thing, step 2, have clear and meaningful goals and how to achieve them faster. In order for us to have clear, meaningful goals and achieve them faster, it's imperative that we stay positive, motivated, and focused. So here's some techniques. So when we talk about clear goals, people say that's obvious. Can I tell you something? Statistically speaking, if you asked 100 people, what do you really want out of life? More than 97 of them would not be able to answer you in a heartbeat. They have to stop and think about it. So many people think they know what they want, but they're actually not 100% clear. So here's a little technique for you. It's called the What Do I Want reflection, and there are 5 questions to ask yourself. The recommendation I have is go somewhere quiet where you won't be disturbed. Take a few minutes with your eyes closed and lots of deep belly breaths until you're calm and deeply relaxed. And hold a pen and paper on your lap with your eyes closed. And one by one, ask the question in your mind and just remain quiet and breathe. Whatever comes to mind, just tell yourself you'll remember it, and then open your eyes and write it down. Then close your eyes again and ask the second question. And this takes about 15-20 minutes. If you do this exercise, believe me, you'll be quite surprised as the answers you get if you do it that way in a kind of meditation than if you do it in a waking state. So here are the 5 questions. The first one is, what do I want to create? Now, we're very specific about using the word create because we understand we create our own reality. We're creating it all the time with our thoughts and with our feelings. And if anyone has a problem understanding this, I never heard it before, please watch the movie The Secret, because we do live in a world with a universal law of vibration, or what people know as a law of attraction. What you're thinking and feeling is what you're attracting in your life. If you're thinking negative thoughts, you're going to have negative experiences. So we create our own reality. So the question is, what do I want to create? Create an empowering word as opposed to just what do I want? What do I want to create? The next question is, why? Why do I want to create this? When we incorporate why, you incorporate purpose. And when your why is strong enough, you can overcome any how. Those are the words of Viktor Frankl, who wrote A Man's Search for Meaning. So why is very important. And when we say why, think of the benefits. How will this make your life different and better? As many benefits as you can. The next question is, I love this. What talents and gifts do I have to help me create this? Because when we ask this question, we're looking how to operate in our strength zone. What we're good at. You know yourself in your life. Whatever you're good at, you love to do. And whatever you suck at, you don't like to do. No one likes to be bad at anything. So when people say focus on your weaknesses, I say that's a lot of rubbish. Unless you're focusing on things like procrastination, chronic negative thinking, yes, focus on getting rid of those weaknesses. But when it comes to talents and gifts, try to remain in your strength zone. Even when you're looking for another job, make sure that your job that you're looking for uses what you're good at, your strengths. We all know we've got certain things we're good at. The next question is when? When do I want to create this? Why do we ask that? Not because we have to meet that date. We might not meet that date. But when you say when and you put a date in, the subconscious mind starts like a target, like a torpedo that's programmed to hit a target. It's going to meander and try to hit that target. So it helps you get there as best it can and give you the resources to help you. And the last is the best one. How does this relate to others? How do you achieving your goals and getting what you want in life, how does that benefit others? People around you, maybe it's your family, or maybe if you have more abundance in your life and more money, Maybe you could give some away to people less fortunate than you. So think of as many benefits, not only for yourself when you achieve your goals, but benefits on how it relates to others. If one of your goals is to become a calmer, nicer, friendlier person and less stressed and angry, of course, you're going to be a nicer person at work. That's how it relates to others. You'll be better company at home. You'll be a better partner. So that's the last question. So those are the questions. What do I want? Reflection. The next thing to help us get to our goals, number one, is a gratitude journal. I can't talk enough about gratitude. I could probably have a webinar for an hour and a half on gratitude. When we are in a state of gratitude, it is the highest vibration you can be in. Gratitude, appreciation, and love. They're all up there right at the very top. So gratitude takes us off focusing on what we don't have. So when we have goals, often our mind says, well, I want this, and I want this, and I want this. So our awareness becomes on the lack of this or the absence of it, because they are future goals. We don't have those things yet. So the awareness of the absence is going to create more absence, because we live in a universe of attraction. So what we need to do is have goals, know what we want to have in the future, but practice gratitude daily so that we are in a vibration of, I'm so thankful for what I do have. Because this is a high vibration. When we are grateful, we attract more things into our life that make us feel more grateful. And that helps you to manifest your goals as well. The second one speaks for itself. It's obvious. Everyone should be doing this. Every single person should be visualizing, even if it's for as short as 5 minutes a day. But we should all visualize. And the most important thing when we visualize is emotion. See yourself being, doing, or having that thing that you want, and feel the emotion, the joy, the bliss, the excitement, the yes, as if you have it already. Because emotion is the creative force. And the last one, surround yourself with people who can support you. That's so important. Being with people who encourage you, who are positive, who lift you up and make you feel good about yourself, and encourage you to keep going forward. Sometimes you get stuck and you feel a bit down. Okay. Number 3. This is huge. Limiting beliefs. Let me just start off by saying, if where you are in your life right now is a place called here, and if you had to achieve all your goals, you called a place called there, the only thing standing in the way between here and there are limiting beliefs. Now, the interesting thing about limiting beliefs is most of the time we don't know what they are. We're not aware of them until we have a very good coach or some person in your life to help make you become aware, or you really do work hard on self-awareness. So I just want you to know that no matter what limiting beliefs you have, you can overwrite them. You can literally rewire your brain for success. That's what Olympic athletes do. That's why all the top athletes in the world visualize, or top high achievers, top performers. Every single one of them who are at the top of their game in any industry use visualization and mental tools to overwrite limiting beliefs. So the first thing is, how do I become aware of them if I don't know what they are? So the answer to your awareness is, how do you feel? This is so simple. How do you feel? You can only feel 2 ways. You can either feel good or you can feel bad. Sure, there are degrees on how good you could feel or degrees on how bad you could feel, but still you can only feel good or bad. So let me just say this. Whenever you're feeling bad, I don't even mind what the emotion is. It can be frustration, grief, overwhelm, anger, fear, resentment, name it. When you're feeling a negative emotion, you have a limiting belief about either yourself, someone else, or an event or circumstance outside of you. So a good idea is to just keep a little book with you, and whenever you have a negative thought or something that doesn't make you feel good, write that thing down and immediately write next to it a positive affirmation. And I'll give you an example. When I had the worst time of my life before I found the Silva Method, it was about 2010. And I really did hate my job at the time. I was doing really, really badly. I was physically ill from stress. It was just overwhelming, and I could talk about it too long, but I won't. And I really, really hated my job. And I became aware of this thought. So cancel, by the way, because we know hate's a bad word. So what I did was I became aware of it, and I wrote down in my little book that I carry in my handbag, I absolutely love my job. And I thought, Jeanine, every time you're thinking the same thought, you're creating more and more of that in your life. So I used to go to work every day in Melbourne on the train and then the tram. And I literally used to sit there with my eyes closed on the train or the tram, take that 30 minutes every morning. And I used to go back in my mind to a job where I absolutely did love my job. And Dom knows me from there. We used to work together in South Africa. When I worked for Clover, I absolutely loved that job. So I'd go back in time to a job that I did love, getting to the feeling, emotional state of I love it, and then just repeat that over and over in my head. I absolutely love my job. I did this day in and day out, repeatedly, like I was banging on a drum. Can I tell you, this plus visualizing and meditating daily and using techniques, literally 5 months later, when everything turned around for me, I got the highest levels of success that I could in the company, and I stayed at that level for the next 3-4 years until I left. And when this did turn around, I did absolutely love my job. Did the people change? No. Did my boss change? No. Did my clients change? No. My title didn't change, the furniture, the surroundings. I changed. So when you change a belief, you change your experience. And I'll say this is the case for absolutely everything. Even people, this conversation is a challenging one to have, but when people don't have money or finances, and they tell me, but Jeanine, it's a reality. And I'm saying, I know it's your reality, but you've got to change that belief somehow, some way, every day. Visualize and program for abundance. Otherwise, you're not going to get out of where you are. So one other way we can be aware of a limiting belief is when we use a sentence like, I'd like to whatever, but there's a limiting belief. I'd love to go to Hawaii this year, but I haven't got the money. I'd love to have this job, but I'm not skilled enough. You know, I'd love to actually be in the movie industry, but I've only ever been in fast-moving consumer goods, whatever it may be. So your emotions are your guidance system. Whenever you feel bad, become aware there's potentially a limiting belief there for you. Okay, how do we overwrite them if we become aware of them? The first thing is, when we're feeling bad or have limiting beliefs that are blocking us, we need to have a resourceful state. And I mean by this, a feeling of, look at the man in the picture, that feeling, how you feel when you're winning. So here's a quick exercise if you're taking notes. Take a piece of paper, the bigger the better, A3, and draw a line across and cut up your life into decades of 10 years, along a long timeline. And take the time. This exercise takes about 45 minutes, maybe even longer. And try and remember, whenever you felt a sense of achievement, a sense of winning, of success, of being proud of yourself, and mark it. It can be anything. 6 years old, getting a prize at school for sport. It could be 12 years of age, saying a speech in a competition or something and winning. Buying your first house, having a baby, opening a business, whatever it may be. Any of your high points in your life, list as many as you can. And the more you start writing down, the more you're going to remember. And you might even remember days after that. Keep adding to that list. I can guarantee you when you read that, you are going to feel amazing. Now, what we do in the Silva Method is we actually try to ask ourselves to identify the proudest moment of our life, like the one standout. And we actually go into a deep state of meditation and we relive that moment. And then there's a sentence in the meditation where we say, whenever I have the need or desire to think this way, feel this way, believe or behave this way, all I need to do is put my 3 fingers together and it will be so. And then we actually create a trigger by using the 3 fingers together. It's probably the most famous Silva Method technique. It put them on the map, called the 3 fingers technique. But we actually program this in a dynamic meditation, which means any time in your life in future when you need to have more confidence, or you need to have more self-belief that you can do something and you're feeling self-doubt, we literally just take a deep breath and put our 2 fingers together, and our brain has had this like association. It's a trigger mechanism. You bring back that state. So for yourselves, do that timeline, reflect on your success, collect as much evidence as possible, read it, and then for yourselves, then go and visualize achieving your goals. Or then visualize the person that you want to be or what you want to do when you know that there's maybe a limiting belief holding you back. Then just to say, I've spoken about visualizing daily. Everyone in the top of their game does that. There's something called the 30-day principle. Just very briefly, in NASA, they did an experiment with astronauts to test how they would react without gravity, being weightless in space. So they gave them goggles that caused the image to be inverted, upside down, back to front. And they made them wear them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Whilst they were doing this, they were hoping to see would they become hostile, nauseous, sick, whatever. What they never expected, which happened, was between day 25 and 30, the brain corrected the image. From being upside down and back to front, the brain fixed the image. And this, I thought, wow, we never expected that to happen. So they did the experiment again with 2 groups of astronauts. The one, goggles 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The second group, on day 15 only, they took their goggles off for 1 day. Did you know it took the second group an additional 25 to 30 days before the brain corrected the image? So what we understand from this is, if you want to change a limiting belief, or you want to change or create any belief, you have to visualize doing that thing every day without missing 1 day for more than 30 days. So I have something called the grid. You take a piece of paper, you draw 30 blocks in it, 6 by 5, and you tick every day with the date on it. If you miss a day, what are you going to do? Start again. Crumple it up and start again. And this is easier said than done. I use this repeatedly in my life, and I have for years. And every time I start on a new goal to create a new belief, it takes me 3 to 4 times to pass 30 days. It sounds easy. That's why you've got to mark it down on paper. Okay. So we're at step number 4. So step 1, remaining calm and focused. Step 2, having clear goals and how to achieve them. Step 3, limiting beliefs, overcoming them. Step 4, making better decisions. Can I tell you, being good at making decisions is a key ingredient for success. Being able to make good decisions is so flippin' important that there's an entire chapter dedicated to it in the famous book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Decision. The good news is you can teach yourself to be better at decision making. It's a skill you can actually develop. That's the one. The next one is being able to recognize opportunities and the right ones for us. Let's be honest. Not every opportunity is the right one for us, and many times they are, and we miss them, and we let them go and they don't come back. So the way we do this is basically to be able to tap in to our creativity and our intuition, because we need to be creative thinkers to make better decisions. We need to be creative thinkers to solve problems. The best problem solvers in the world are people who are quite creative. Okay, so just a question. When are you most creative?
When you're in a happy place.
When you're in a happy place, you are correct. And when you are in a relaxed state. That's why I'm going to just go back and say, out of the 4 skills, the first one of remaining calm and focused, even under pressure, is the foundation. It's the most important one, because when you can repeatedly remain calm and focused through daily meditation and the cancel technique and being aware of negative thoughts and making them positive, you slowly become a calm person with a peaceful inner state. When you can operate from that level, you can be more creative every day, You can solve problems way more effectively. And also, you can tap into your intuition. We can't tap into intuition when we are tense and stressed. So that's why basically number 1 is so important. Okay, so how valuable is intuition? Do we all have intuition? And do you think it's a human trainable skill? Many people think that only a few people have intuition, ESP, or they're a little bit psychic, or whatever you want to call it. They're all the same term. Well, the giants are not the benchmark. The giants are the giants. The truth is, we all have intuition. It's the way we are designed. We are born this way. And if you want to know if it's valuable, Albert Einstein says the only real valuable thing is intuition. Einstein also said imagination is more important than knowledge. And just to tell you that the Silva Method is a 4-day program. Day 3 and 4 are 2 solid days dedicated to step-by-step, methodically training intuition. And you absolutely can train that skill. It's something you can develop intentionally. So yes, it's a natural skill. We're all born with it. And like any skill, it needs to be developed and practiced. So what's the challenge with intuition? Why aren't we all so good at it then? Well, the truth is we're never really sure, and we don't all trust it. And the reason we don't often trust it is because we can't often distinguish between wishful thinking or intuition. Which one is it? Or is it fear? Or is it accurate intuitive insight? There's these distortions. You know, you could be walking down the street at night with some friends at 1 o'clock in the morning, and you get a feeling you should turn that corner. Now, is that intuition? Or is that fear? Because years ago you were mugged walking down a dark street at night. So which one is it? This is why you get distortions. Or sometimes we project our personality or our fears or our paradigms onto other people and think, oh, it's intuition. I'm sure the person's thinking that thing, or I'm sure that shouldn't be trusted, when it's actually a projection. So the reason that it's a challenge is because we lack points of reference. We need many points of reference to start to know if this is accurate intuitive insight or not. So if you're not going to do the Silva Method, I'm going to give you some tips which you can apply in your life to try and help you get started on this. But of course, doing the program, you will absolutely blow your own socks off by the end of day 4. We play so many intuition games. The last day for 3 hours, you are doing this continuously with immediate feedback. So you can know when I sensed this, I was on the money. I was right. When I sensed it that way, I was completely off the mark. And you have 1, 2, 3, 10, 20, 30, 100 points of reference. At that stage, you start to really get to be in tune with your intuition. So many points of reference is the way to go. So if it's in your own life and you haven't done the program, I'd say from today, mark the day that you tell yourself, I will always trust my intuition. And whenever it lets you down, try to go back and work out for yourself, what do you think it was that caused you to make a mistake or be wrong? And try and see if was it fear or something else. But otherwise, always trust your intuition and go with it. Because the more you do that, the more points of reference you'll get, and the more you'll be able to see, because your gut has been there all your life. And we may not trust it as much due to maybe conditioning or even how you're raised. Just to tell you, I grew up with a grandfather who was a magician and telepathist. So for me, it was normal to have that kind of quality. And my grandmother was psychic. So for me, it's normal. But another person who never had any of that might think this is a bit weird, or I'm a bit weird, or someone saying they're psychic is weird. So it just depends on who we are. So for yourself, just to become aware of a feeling you get, whether you get a picture in your mind, which is like clairvoyant, clear seeing, or a little voice in your ear. Some people hear a voice like clairaudient, or you get a feeling in your body, or you get goose pimples. Often when you get goose pimples, they're called spiritual chills. It's a sign that this is truth for you. Okay, so let's just recap if you're taking notes. First skill is the foundation, most important before you can progress, is learn to remain calm and focused by meditating every single day, using the cancel and a positive reframe. And for those of you who want a guided meditation, get it from the website. It's called the Long Relax. It'll teach you to focus your mind. Even if you just did it to learn to focus your mind in a calm state, you'll help yourself. Secondly, to get clear goals, the what do I want reflection with those 5 questions. Gratitude. By the way, I recommend gratitude journaling just before you go to bed at night, because the way we go to sleep is the way we wake up. When you emerge back into consciousness after coming out of sleep, you go straight back into the state that you were in before you went to bed. So when you go to bed worried and angry or frustrated, you're going to wake up worried, angry, or frustrated. But if you go to bed with gratitude and you really take that as you cuddle up and lie on your pillow and put the light off, you've done your gratitude journaling, and you just say, oh, thank you, and I'm so comfortable and cozy in my bed, and you just feel that and you go to sleep like that, boy, oh boy, what a way to marinate in your brain. How beautiful. Couldn't be better. Visualize daily. Surround yourself with people who can support you. Third one, overcome limiting beliefs. Your emotions are your guidance system. Be aware when you're feeling bad. Write it down. Come to get to know yourself. Develop a resourceful state. Create all that evidence of achievement for yourself, and practice the 30-day principle in visualizing. And lastly, to make better decisions and recognize opportunities, develop your creativity and intuition. So guys, did you enjoy that? Did you get some benefit out of that? Got 2 thumbs up there. Excellent. Thank you. So I just want to say, I'll tell you a little bit more about the Silva method, because this is a tip of the iceberg. If this is something that resonates with you or something that you really love and you'd like to develop and expand on it further, imagine immersing yourself for 4 full days in exercises of dynamic meditation where you take your own goals and you program them into your mind and you train yourself to become calm and focused with multiple exercises in dynamic meditation where you slowly recondition your brain and your body to becoming a relaxed individual, deeply relaxed. So when you get stressed, it's such a contrast. You think, I don't want to feel like this after doing the program, but you have tools that literally go from starting off training 30 minutes to get into deep relax to 10 minutes to 3 minutes. And by the time you finish the Silva program, it's 1 deep breath or just the 3 fingers, and you bring back that calm, relaxed state. So what the Silva method is, it's basically structured exercises. So when I say structured, once for this, if you've got a sleeping problem, it's a sleep technique. If you've got a goal, it's a goal technique. So there's a structured technique for everything you want to achieve. And it's basically about creating the life of your own design. That's what the key tagline is. So we have techniques to learn to sleep better, to learn to manage pain, and overall to improve your health, regardless of the condition. People with seizures. Now, I lost my younger brother who suffered from epilepsy in 2012, and he suffered from chronic epilepsy seizures. When I was in Connecticut doing the Silva Method program, there was a lady who done the Silva Method program about a year and a half before. She was on stronger medication than my brother, and it was in the highest dose you could give someone. She was on a dose like that, an exceptionally strong dose. And after doing the Silva Method and using the techniques, she just celebrated 1 year of being off medication and seizure free. So I'm just giving you an example. There are many people who've overcome cancer, and the lady who trained with me to become a Silva instructor, her name's Pooja, we both did the leadership training course together. She was declared paralyzed from the neck down, quadriplegic, when she was 20. She fell out of a 2-story building and landed and broke her neck and punctured the nerve bundle. When the doctors told her she's paraplegic, she said, there's no way, I will walk again. They said, look, don't want to dampen your hopes, but, paraplegic's paraplegic. And she said, I will walk again. And she knew that using her mind, anything is possible. And she told the doctor she'll climb Mount Kilimanjaro. Well, let me tell you, it took Pooja 7 years, but she did climb Mount Kilimanjaro, and she's teaching Silva today. She's a walking example of the power and potential of the human mind over the body. So I'm just saying, to improve health, anything is possible. In terms of sleep, by the way, there was a lady in my Silva program in November last year who suffered from insomnia. She's been going to a sleep clinic, She's in her 60s. She's been going to a sleep clinic since her early 20s. She suffered every single night of her life from insomnia since she was in her 20s. On the second night of the Silva training, she slept the whole night through. And since then, she's been sleeping every single night. She's gone back to her sleep clinic. She's told her doctor he's very happy for her. She doesn't take any medication, and she's overcome her inability to sleep. There's techniques to stop headaches and migraines without the use of drugs. We have techniques to increase self-confidence. If anyone thinks it's not possible, I'm telling you it's absolutely possible to change your self-confidence. And this is wonderful for children if they don't have self-confidence. And to give them these techniques early, what a gift. How to manage stress, how to overcome headaches without taking tablets. We also use dynamic meditation to visualize our own goals. We bring them into the class. Everyone's personal. They have your own things. But we start to work on them then and make impressions and rewire the brain within the class. Then you leave there with the tools to continue when you're gone. Also, you start to live in the flow, the feeling that the universe has got your back, the feeling of having lucky synchronicities, that ease with life. That's what comes with daily meditation. Also, 2 full days are spent on intuition. I've mentioned that. And also to become more innovative and creative in our life. We also have a technique for decision making. Should I buy that house or not? Should I move to that country or that town? Should I take this job or should I resign? Should I build a business? It's called the glass of water technique. Very effective. Also, one of the most beautiful things in day 3 and 4 of the Silva method is if anyone wonders what their life purpose is, because trust me, I never knew what mine was my entire life up to the age of 42. And it frustrated the hell out of me. I used to look at people talk about life purpose and think, what is wrong with me? I don't have one. I've never understood even what the term means. It was the Silva method that helped me find my life purpose. And then when I found it, that was the difficult part. How do I go after it? It was such a big challenge because it wasn't my corporate job that I was doing. It was something else that I had passion and dreams for. And I had such a terror barrier to face, to step out of my comfort zone and follow my dream. But I got the tools to expand on it, and I'm a living product of the product today. I did leave corporate, and I'm doing what I love to do. So it's possible for everybody to find your life purpose. I don't guarantee you'll get it in the 4 days, but I do guarantee you will plant the seed in your subconscious mind that will start to germinate, and over time, you will bring that answer into your life clearly, with clarity for yourself. Also, the feeling of being self-empowered. You'll have all the tools and techniques to literally deal with any area of your life and improve it. And the feeling of being inspired. There is nothing better than working. We all know we've had times where we're working under stress and it's hard and it's tiring. Or you're working, taking inspired action. Everything is easy. You feel on top of the world and you're just going and it's so fast and it's so flowing. That's inspiration. So you can actually develop that. And lastly, just to have a more confident, hopeful, and reliable level of trust in yourself and tools to sustain your growth and development going forward. So just to tell you, there are classes every quarter. The next one's coming up on the weekend of 2 and 3 September. That's for life systems. Those are all the tools for like sleep, managing pain, goals, glass of water technique, things like that. And then 2 weeks later, we come back for the next weekend, and it's 2 days of intuition training. The 4-day program costs $1,500. There is at the moment still an early bird special. It ends on Monday, but otherwise it's $1,500 for the 4 days. Just to mention some great benefits. If you ever do the Silva method, you can review the program for free for the rest of your life in over 110 countries around the world. We don't know any other program in the world that does this. And the reason is it's not about the money. The philosophy of Jose Silva, the founder, is to make this world a better place one by one. A better you, a better world. If you're more calm and focused, you'll be better at home. You'll be better with your children. You'll be better with your colleagues. If you find your life purpose and you achieve your goals, you'll be happier and more resourced to help others. So it's to spread the love. You also get a conditional money back guarantee. The only condition is you attend all 4 days and do every exercise. If you believe this didn't work for you, it's got no value, no questions asked, we'll give you a full refund. Just give us back the manual. And once you've done the Silva program, you talk about how the right people can support you. You become part of a group of Silva graduates. And we do have graduate programs where you can make friends and we support each other. We're on calls together. So you're in a community and we share, like, what did you use? What tool did you use to get that? Or what are you struggling with? Oh, I had that. I overcame it this way. So just a reminder, talk about the paradigm being 90% of what's controlling your life. The whole program is about working on the paradigm. It's going into the subconscious mind in dynamic meditation. So that's it, folks. I'll just end off on this quote of the founder, Jose Silva, who said, "The greatest discovery you will ever make is the potential of your own mind." And that is so true. We have infinite potential, but where does it reside? In deep reservoirs of the mind. So that's it from me. If anyone has any questions, I'm going to hang out on the call. I'll just ask you if anybody has any questions. Otherwise, I'll just stop the recording.